And it really goes to prove that if you don't measure something, nothing will be done about it.
And we have to make New Jersey's business climate more attractive for entrepreneurs.
We are Wonder Women. Like, look at all these women and what they've done and what they've tried. And even if they didn't succeed, they gave it a shot.
I don't think it's fair to put a $4 or $5 billion price tag on middle-class New Jerseyans.
We've got a great lifestyle here, and I don't want to see it ruined because politicians can't manage our finances properly.
Welcome to As a Matter of Fact. I'm Lisa Allen, and we are filming from the Hometown TV studios in Summit, New Jersey. Today, I'm excited to bring you two special guests. First, we're going to be talking finances, estate planning, and answering the question, are you ready for life? My second guest will be talking about eating right, finding your passion, and making sure you're physically fit for life. But first, let me introduce you to my first guest, Jude Avelino. Jude is a managing partner of Avelino & Hartlub LLP and the leader of its estate planning and corporate departments. His skill and expertise are in navigating complex wealth retention issues ranging from estate planning to corporate and tax matters. Hometown TV is also excited to announce that Jude will soon be starting his own show right here in our studio titled, Are You Ready for Life? It's tailored towards helping our viewers expand their knowledge and properly prepare for most of life's events, whether they're expected or not expected. Discussion topics include guidance in creating wills, trusts and estates, navigating elder law, and so much more. Jude and his family have lived in Summit for 15 years, which allows him to have a unique insight into the nuances of our community. He's also been instrumental in fundraising for the Summit Community Center, is a trustee of the Overlook Foundation, and supports various arts and sports programs throughout Summit schools. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Jude Avelino. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Of course.
So we're excited that you're going to be starting here in September, October,
Yeah.
right? So I know you, we're friends, you're in our neighborhood, but for the viewers, can you just tell a little bit about yourself and your background and being in Summit?
Sure. So as he said, I've lived in Summit for 15 years, and I am a trust and estates attorney. I have an LLM, which is a master's in law in taxation from Georgetown. And last November, I merged with an attorney, Jeff Hartlub, in town. Yep. In my opinion, Jeff is a preeminent real estate attorney in the state of New Jersey. Between the two of us, we have close to 70 years of experience practicing law. And so now our law firm is a 9-attorney law firm located in Summit. And we service our clients in the areas of real estate, estate planning, land use, which is variances, corporate work, and litigation.
Wow, it's well-rounded.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So let me ask you this, Jude, because in this day and age, you can go online and you can pretty much get anything you want from the internet, the internet of everything, right? You have different websites like LegalZoom that you can go on, fill out a template, have a will done for very inexpensively. Why would I choose someone like your firm versus LegalZoom?
Right. So it's a great question. I think there's certainly a place for LegalZoom. My mother was a single mom, a mom from Queens, so LegalZoom, if there was the internet back then, would have been perfect for her. But if you have a family, children, own a home, have some assets, to me you want more for them than going to the computer. Some client said to me one time, well, you have software for this, you're just pushing buttons. And I said, well, I know the buttons to push. Right? So you think about what happens when something happens. There's only two things we're certain of, right? They are?
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes. Okay, good answer.
I didn't know you were going to quiz me on my own
there's
show.
A quiz. There's quizzing involved.
Right.
Death and taxes. So we know it's going to happen. Let's prepare.
Right.
Let's put our family in the best position possible. And when something happens, are you going to run to the computer, or would you rather go to a real life person who's going to help guide you through what usually is a very stressful time?
Right. Can you give me some real life examples where, for me, for example, right? I'm married, I have 2 kids, but who else would come to you?
Yeah, I mean, again, since we're all going to go one day, really everyone needs to come in. But there are core documents that we all need. A will. So will name a personal representative of your estate. Once you pass away, you no longer exist in the eyes of the law, and someone needs to come and act on behalf of your assets. The will names that. Most importantly, if you have young children, the will is going to name a guardian for those children. If you don't name a guardian properly, families could end up fighting over who's going to raise the children.
Right.
Children cannot inherit anything under a will. So there needs to be a trust set up under the will. If there is no trust set up under the will because you pushed the wrong button on the computer screen, the court will have to take the money and appoint a stranger, a guardian ad litem, to be in charge of that money. And now your brother or sister, whoever took guardianship over the children, has to go to that guardian, to the court, to ask for money.
Right.
Nobody wants that scenario.
Right.
So that's the will. A power of attorney enables someone of your choosing to act on your behalf if you cannot act for legal and financial matters. So real life example, we once had a client who was a doctor who got pneumonia and fell into a coma. And he had a medical practice, and he had bills to pay. And he had the money to pay all those things, but no one could act on his behalf. So his family had to take out loans to help pay his staff and pay his bills. We don't want that. You're sending a child off to college. They're an adult. You need to have a power of attorney over them. So in the event something happens, you can access their legal and financial paperwork, their medical records. Okay? So power of attorney is the second of the core documents. A living will. We all remember Terry Schiavo down in Florida, who sat in a vegetative state for 17 years. Her parents were ultra-religious, didn't want to let her go, and the husband said he and his wife discussed it, and she did not want to be kept alive, but there was no living will. So they fought in the court system for 17 years until it was finally resolved. It could have been easily resolved with a living will. If you have life insurance of over $1 million or more, you should have a life insurance trust. Although life insurance proceeds are income tax-free, they're not estate tax-free. So the life insurance proceeds on the death of the surviving spouse, whatever's left, gets added on to your estate and then taxed. Furthermore, you want to make sure that life insurance, which is for many people their biggest asset, it just doesn't exist yet, goes to who it's supposed to go to, which is the surviving spouse and then the children, not the surviving spouse and then the new partner they may marry later on. We want it to go to the children. And lastly, if you have young children, I'm not a financial advisor, but I tell my clients, talk to your financial advisor about setting up a 529 plan to save for college.
Interesting.
Okay? To me, those are the core documents. There's other situations that come into play. If you have a child with special needs, you need a special needs trust. If you have property in multiple states, you may need a revocable trust. But the will, power of attorney, living will, and life insurance trust are the core documents that I think everybody needs.
Right. You had talked about estate planning, and that is close to my heart. I've done a lot of interviews on it. And it's phasing out, but there's talk that it might come back in. So, and New Jersey is very complicated with taxes. If I came to you and I set up all my will and my estate planning, the estate tax is what it is today, but it changed a year from now. Do I go back to you? How does that work? How do you work with your clients to make sure that they're adequately, changing and evolving as the law changes and evolves?
Yeah, so let's discuss the estate tax very quickly.
Yeah.
The exemption last year was $675,000, which means the first $675,000 is free of New Jersey taxes. Governor Christie put it into the gas tax, put a repeal of the estate tax into the gas tax bill. So it's being phased out, as he said. The exemption this year for 2017 is $2 million. And there's supposed to be no New Jersey estate tax next year. However, we have a gubernatorial race coming up in November. You had the leading candidate on as a guest on your show, Phil Murphy, who has said he wants to bring the estate tax back.
Right.
Okay. So you need to have documents that are flexible enough so that every time there's a change in the tax law, you don't have to change your documents. And again, will you know that by going to the computer? If you have a real life person as your attorney, hopefully they will guide you. I guide my clients. If there's changes in tax laws, I let them know. If there's changes in their lives, they let me know. I think it's about a 3 to 5 year cycle. You don't want to think of this as a transaction.
Right.
Again, not to pick on the online sites, but that's a transaction. You do the will, you mentally check it off on your mind that you did the will, and you throw it in your drawer and you never think about it again. Meanwhile, your life is changing and laws are changing. If you have a relationship with your attorney, you're going to review this every 3 to 5 years. And just a quick comment on pricing, you brought that up a little while ago. Yes, real live attorneys are more expensive than computer attorneys, but there's a reason for that. It's the guidance, right? When someone is sick and in the hospital, the attorney is going to come and help. I've been to Overlook Hospital more times than I can think of with clients who are going to have brain surgery, heart surgery, just had a stroke. You want a relationship with an attorney that you know, rather than at that time, because you use an online site, finding a stranger to come.
Right.
Okay, so it's going to be more expensive. Price shop for appliances.
Right.
Don't price shop for this.
Right. You know, you brought up a really good point about being in the hospital. What about parents? So we have aging parents. Even having this conversation, I'm like, are we covered? You know, are we situated? What should the average person think about when they have aging parents?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. There's a lot to think about.
I know.
And we're the sandwich generation.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself in your age bracket, okay? We're the sandwich generation. We're raising our children, and we're helping our parents age. So we're taking care of 2 generations. And the same documents apply to mom and dad. We want to make sure that their wills are in order. We can't just assume they had it done because they have a friend who's an attorney that you saw at a barbecue one time. We want to make sure that you have power of attorney over mom and dad and the living will. If there are other things to do, then it's time to have a discussion with mom and dad to find out what those other things may be. But again, they need the core documents just like you or I need the core documents.
Right. You've given us a lot to think about, and you know what? We are so excited to have you on in September because I feel like this is deep. There's so many vast pieces to this between parents, children, the estate, the ever-changing taxes. What can we expect from your show?
Well, I hope a lot of information. So as you said earlier, the name of the show is Are You Ready for Life? And the idea came from watching these shows where people are talking about the stock market and trying to predict if the market's going up or down. And I don't think you can really predict that with any level of accuracy. But again, there are the 2 things that we can all predict that are going to happen. And so my job on the show is to give everyone information to be ready. It's a beautiful thing about life. We know that it's going to end one day, yet we still live fulfilled lives. And I don't want this subject to be something that people carry around with them every day, but I want them to be prepared. Be prepared for when things happen. Be prepared for when laws change. Take away the unintended consequences. I see that over the last 20 some odd years. I've seen a lot of unintended consequences where mom or dad didn't plan correctly and not the right people ended up with the assets, right? Or there's no planning and now there's fighting and chaos. With a proper plan, you can avoid all of that.
Right.
You know, when I joke that when you're having your first child, you read the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Right. And none of it happens that way.
No.
So.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
But the last chapter should be, congratulations, you just had your first child. Now get your will done.
Right.
People don't know what they don't know. And I hope my show gives people things to think about. And we'll have guests in the areas of law, finance, tax, and local politicians to give everyone information that they need to be ready for life.
Excellent. We're excited.
Great.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on
Thank
today,
you.
Jude. We look forward to having you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you, our viewers, for watching today, and we will be right back after this break.
Here in Summit, New Jersey, Hometown TV is a hyper-local station and an integral part of the community, covering local events, government meetings, entertainment, and offering original programs. Hometown TV encourages you to tune into Verizon Channel 33, Comcast Channel 36, and our YouTube page to find out what's going on around town. Come in, volunteer, support, and keep up with the latest here at Hometown TV.
Welcome back. I'm here with my next guest, May Fridel, founder and chief executive officer of Passion for Spices. She is on a mission to help America truly enjoy organic food prepared with genuine, wholesome, chemical-free ingredients. And who would not want that? May is a spice expert, and she shares the knowledge of her healthy cooking through various food literacy programs for kids and adults throughout the nation. The American Diabetic Association has also published her cookbook recently titled Indian Cuisine Diabetics and is available in the US market, UK, Canada, and India. She's building her business advocating for sustainable lifestyles. May is also involved in many community leadership roles and is passionate about raising funds for charitable organizations in her hometown of Summit. May, it is so good to have you today.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. Very excited.
I know, I'm really excited. You know what? Healthy eating, sustainable lifestyle, organic, that is all words that really resonate with me. And I thought we did a show together with Amy. And
yes.
So I just wanted to have you come on and talk to the viewers so they could learn a little bit about you. How did you start this whole route with getting into your passion for spices and getting to where you're at today?
It was my dream to come to the US, and I pursued that by joining as a knowledge engineer in the financial service industry, and I became a head of knowledge management. And as I grew in my career, I was so busy as a mom, and when I had a child, I realized that he had a lot of immune system disorders and stuff like that. So basically I stopped and thought about what I did wrong. So I was fortunate enough to grow up in a sustainable lifestyle where I had a lot of knowledge about great food and great healthy practices. But I stopped and I said, let me change the way I live, and quit my job, and I started introducing wholesome food to my child, and we saw tremendous improvement in the child's immune system. And that is the beginning of Passion for Spices. So I started giving classes, lectures, and got more knowledge from my ancestors, my families, moms, grandparents, and I started integrating that food in the Western kitchen. But the time I took is to experiment a lot of recipes with the gadgets and the facilities we have in our kitchen. See, all of us are busy, we don't have the time, so this is what I mastered. So I formed the business Passion for Spices, which where I could have a balance of life. See, I wanted to do something solid with my financial background and a high-powered job. I didn't want to do something small, so I wanted something solid, which I can enjoy, and I can do it forever. So I can build it, which I can scale. So that's how Passion for Spices was formed, and it's a international business now with a great product line and a food literacy program which is established.
That is so exciting. I'm going to say it's a really appropriate word for you, passion, because everything you do with passion, and you just give it your all. You do a lot of philanthropy locally and broadly. Can you just talk a little bit about how you've merged Passion with Spices into the philanthropy, which is your other love?
Right. Yeah, I am, as I said, Passion for Spice is a passion for life. I started off some philanthropy events, like donating to schools with children with cancer, and so I started off. People started calling me for SEF fundraising, and every time I donated something, my dinners were sold out. So I was very thrilled. But I am also involved with various community leadership roles. I'm elected as a city representative for the City of Union for the block development grant, and I'm in the committee for the Dominican nuns for the $4 million capital campaign. I'm very thrilled. We are almost there. And many others like the Boy Scouts, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to spend my time helping the community and give back.
Where are you heading with your business? So today you do what? You do classes for the kids and adults, which I've always told you I want to do because actually I want to say this. We did a show together and I have one of your cookbooks. It was the simplest some of the recipes that we did were so simple. I actually did them with my younger son, Zach.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole point of my cooking methodology is easy, practical, and wholesome ingredients and tasty. The thing is, even when you are diabetic or patient with cancer or any illness, you want to eat food with pleasure. So you want to eat something with flavors. So in each and every recipes, we have tested gourmet practices like layers and layers of flavors and spices. But the spices not only give flavor but also boost your immune system. So that's what I've showcased: the techniques of classes, techniques of how to use spices, and the healthy techniques like steaming and broiling and bracing. And so if you look at the book, you will see all those things showcased. But so we have the core as the spice line, which is an organic and sustainable product line, which is retail and wholesale markets, and the food literacy program, which is for adults, kids. I have workshops, special workshop for hospitals, for schools. And
when you say food literacy, exactly, can you define that for me? Because it could just be you're here and you just need a little bit more knowledge, or are you really trying to tailor those to a crowd that doesn't know anything about food?
So we curate, for example, I have a workshop for a group of women who are busy moms, Wall Street moms, doctors, etc. So they said, please help me, and one of them is has diabetic issues. So she wanted me to put together a workshop where they can do everyday meals and for the whole family, which is practical. So we are curating the vessels from Williams-Sonoma, the cooking techniques. We are putting together easy weeknight meals so that they can easily using a pressure cooker or an instant pot. So we have a whole lot of things which they can use, and basics like what ingredients you need to have, what oils they need to buy. So the whole package is given to them in this workshop, and we'll have a continuous ongoing themes. We'll have seasonal ingredients. We'll be showcasing farm to table classes. We'll be having so pressure cooking classes. So we'll be introducing more and more of those practical, fun classes for couples. For what do you cook on a special event?
Can we do it for date night?
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to do date night cooking?
Fabulous cooking. It's a 5-star grade recipes we can make at home.
Right. Where do you teach the classes?
So I usually teach at the Calvary Church. We had at the Elks Lodge last year. We had the camp, but anywhere I can get a professional kitchen, that's where we do our classes. But our classes are taught by professional chefs, designed by me, and it's really wholesome ingredients and learning the real way of cooking. For example, we have a noodle workshop, roti making workshops, taco working workshop, everything from scratch, and fun and easy, and they get to taste a lot of food.
And is it based on all your spices, or is it that you want people to understand the spices and how to make other food?
It's spices is the key ingredients, but we have other cultural heritage and culture classes as well. So for example, we have around the world theme, where tomorrow, and the first class in my cooking camp is the Tuscan food. So we have a specialist chef coming in and teaching Tuscan food from scratch. So we have children from age 2 to teens. So it's really an amazing response I'm getting from parents. And this is the 8th year, and it's been a very successful experience for friends and family.
Wow. What else can we expect from Passion for Spices?
So my book is the exciting thing in this year was the book. So I will be doing a lot of book tours all around the world, to India, to Canada, to Europe. So that is the exciting part, and helping people with diabetic problems and preventing diabetes. So this is my presentation all over the world, showcasing the book as a tool and helping communities. I'm actually excited about the collaboration which we have just started to begin with Robert Wood Johnson, where we are helping Asian American communities, where we are going to help, we'll be their collaborator, introducing food literacy program for for the whole community.
Did you mention you were going to do something for cancer, a cookbook for cancer too?
Yes, that is one of my next in the agenda. So to make food which is palatable for cancer patients. Already I have been asked by Overlook Hospital doctors to do something like that for a group of people. But the thing is, they're designing in such a way the immune system is boosted, and integrating spices, for example, turmeric, which is a cancer preventing spice, which has curcumin, which actually is a very powerful medicine. And when you use black pepper, see, the thing is, the technique which I've learned from my home is use black pepper and turmeric together so it absorbs better.
Right.
So many little tips and techniques we are going to share with the people and my clients.
There is so much to learn about food, and I'm really excited that we are starting to mesh the Western with the Eastern, because it's holistic, right?
Yes.
I believe in traditional medicine, but I really believe the healing starts from the inside out.
Yes,
So-
and Ayurveda, I was fortunate enough to learn Ayurveda in my family. So Ayurveda is the science of life. So everything we ate was based on Ayurveda. The recipes, for example, yogurt you don't use in the night. So when my child had asthma, so I never gave him yogurt. So things like that, and a lot of vegetables seasonally we used. So all those practices were embedded in our lifestyle. So Passion for Spices is really a lifestyle practice where people should start cooking, have a family time, have a joyful life by inviting people, and also growing your own vegetables so that you can get fresh ingredients for your cooking. So those are things which I'm emphasizing in the practice.
Going back to our roots.
Yes,
Get it?
yes.
All right. Let me ask you this, because we're going to be winding up shortly, and I just really admire you. You have done such a wonderful job transitioning from a high-powered job, beginning a company. You were a stay-at-home mom for a short period of time, being philanthropic. For all those men and women out there who want to follow their passion, who really want to just kind of step out of their comfort zone, what is your advice to them to make that a possibility for them?
I would say follow your passion, but just following the passion is not just enough. Do something which you enjoy and you are knowledgeable about. You need to be an expert on something which you do. See, I know that I have a lot of knowledge from my family and myself, so that helped me. So follow your dream, follow your passion, but try something which you can enjoy for your life. See, and that is very important. If you don't enjoy what you do, I think it's not. It gets more tougher on the life.
Yeah, there's that saying that do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life.
Yes, every day is joyful for me, and Passion for Spice is a passion for life for me.
Oh, thank you so much, May. It was great speaking today. I would like to thank both of my guests for sharing both their expertise and experiences today, and thank you, our viewers, for watching. I'm Lisa Allen, and this is As a Matter of Fact. For more programming like this at Hometown TV, please visit us at www.hometowntv.org, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hometown Television, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our Instagram at Hometown TV. Thank you.